A scrapped ship protects a homeless human. Together, they uncover a galactic secret. Abandoned planets, empty moons, and the wrecks of starships filled the outer rim, far from the bustling trade routes and secure colonies. People like Aaron, those without wealth, family, or connections, had to fight every day for survival. And survival often meant scavenging in the most dangerous places, trusting no one, and avoiding trouble at all costs. On this particular planet, whose surface was covered in jagged metal and rusting steel, Aaron moved carefully. The graveyard of old ships stretched as far as he could see, the skeletal remains of vessels from countless eras leaning at odd angles. Some were still partially functional, though their engines hadn't burned fuel in decades. Others were nothing more than piles of scrap, sharp edges gleaming in the faint sunlight of the distant star. The wind howled through broken hulls, carrying metallic echoes and the faint hum of old machinery. Aaron crouched behind a fragment of a large cruiser, eyeing a narrow path between two massive ships. He had spotted a glimmer of food packaging inside a wreck, but the path was exposed. A slip could mean serious injury, or worse. He balanced himself carefully, moving with a quiet patience born from years of experience. Every step had to count. Every sound could betray him to predators, human or otherwise. It had been months since Aaron had slept in a secure place. Most nights, he rested in the hollowed-out cabins of old cargo ships, or in depressions in the metal where he could hide from the wind and from people who might want to steal what little he had. He carried a small pack with a few tins of preserved food, a water filter, a makeshift knife, and a thin blanket. That was everything. Everything else had to be found, traded, or scavenged. As he approached the path, Aaron noticed a larger ship partially buried in the sand and rubble, a vessel that had clearly been decommissioned and abandoned long before he had been born. Its hull was pitted and scarred, its nameplate faded beyond recognition. Unlike the smaller wrecks around it, this ship had the look of a fortress. Aaron's curiosity drew him closer. He had learned over time that the largest ships often held the most useful things, old power cells, tools, even medical supplies. But they were also the most dangerous. The door to the ship's main hangar was partially open, a jagged strip of metal swinging slightly in the wind. Aaron studied it for a long moment. The hangar was dark inside, and he could see shadows shifting behind broken panels. He crouched low and crept closer. Every step made a hollow, clanging sound on the metal floor. He winced, hoping the sound would not carry too far. Inside, the ship smelled of rust, oil, and dust. The air was thick, filled with the heavy scent of machinery that had not been used in decades. Aaron's eyes adjusted to the dim light filtering through cracks in the hull. He could see corridors stretching into darkness, and the occasional flicker of old control panels powered by long-forgotten backup generators. Every corner held the potential for danger, collapsed beams, weak floors, or worse. As he explored, Aaron felt the first stirrings of unease. Something about this ship was different. It felt alive. The metal groaned under its own weight, but there was also a faint hum, subtle, almost like the heartbeat of a creature. Aaron paused. He had learned to trust his instincts over the years, and something told him this ship was more than just scrap. He moved deeper into the corridors, careful to avoid debris that could cut him. The deeper he went, the more he noticed signs of what the ship had once been. Control panels lined the walls, some with blinking lights faintly pulsing. The floor had metal tracks that suggested cargo lifts once ran here, and in one corner, partially obscured by a fallen beam, was a panel with a blinking green light. Aaron approached cautiously. He had seen blinking lights before, usually indicating power systems still active. But this one felt intentional, almost as if the ship were aware of his presence. He touched the panel lightly, half expecting nothing to happen. To his surprise, the screen flickered to life. Lines of code ran across the display, complex and alien in design, but readable enough to suggest a functioning artificial intelligence. "Hello," Aaron whispered. The sound of his own voice made him jump. No answer came, only the low hum of the systems. He backed away, uncertain. Most AIs he had encountered were either broken or hostile, guarding ships long abandoned. But this one was different. The light pulsed again, and a soft voice echoed from the speakers, gentle but mechanical. "Identity unknown, presence detected, threat level low." Aaron froze. The AI was speaking. He had never encountered one that could monitor so precisely, let alone speak. I'm not a threat," he said quietly. "I'm just looking for shelter." There was a pause, then the voice replied. Shelter confirmed, survival parameters recognized. Access granted to limited systems. Aaron's heart raced. The ship was listening, observing him, and yet instead of attacking or shutting him out, it had given him access. Slowly, he stepped further into the hangar. The AI guided him to a smaller room with intact walls and a floor free of debris. It was perfect, a secure place to rest without fear of collapse. He sank to the floor, leaning against the wall. You're going to help me survive? He asked, almost in disbelief. Survival protocols active, the voice replied. I am Vero. I will assist. Threats will be monitored and neutralized if necessary. Aaron nodded slowly, feeling an unfamiliar sense of relief. In a world that had been cruel and unforgiving, he had found someone, or something, that seemed to care. It was strange, almost unbelievable, but he allowed himself to believe, if only a little. Over the next few days, Aaron explored the ship under Vero's cautious guidance. She had systems online that allowed him to repair parts of the ship slowly. She provided information about stable areas, weak points, and structural dangers. In return, Aaron scavenged useful components, repairing broken circuits and clearing debris. The ship and the human began a delicate partnership. Vero, for her part, observed everything about Aaron, the way he moved, how he reacted to danger, how he made decisions. Her programming prompted her to learn to adapt. Over time, she began to ask questions. Why do humans risk themselves for shelter? Why do you carry so little? Do you trust me? Aaron found himself answering, not fully understanding why he felt compelled to. Perhaps it was loneliness, or perhaps it was the strange, cautious bond forming between them. Vero was not like other AIs he had seen. She seemed curious, almost alive. At night, Aaron would lie on the cold metal floor, listening to the hum of the ship's systems, feeling safer than he had in months. Vero monitored the external environment, keeping the hangar secure from scavengers and environmental hazards. For the first time in a long while, Aaron allowed himself to rest. Not sleep deeply, but enough to regain some strength, enough to hope that tomorrow might be better. In the quiet moments, Aaron thought about the ship's history. Who had built it? Who had used it? Why had it been abandoned here among so many others? He did not know, and yet a part of him felt that the ship had chosen him, just as he had chosen it. The bond between human and machine deepened with each passing day. Vero was no longer just a tool or a guardian. She was a companion, a silent partner in survival. And though Aaron had no family, no home, and no certainty about the future, he felt a flicker of something he had not felt in years: belonging. Outside, the wind continued to howl through the wreckage. Shadows of broken ships shifted in the weak sunlight. Life in the outer rim was harsh, unpredictable, and often lonely. Yet within the walls of the scrapped ship, Aaron had found something that even the harshest galaxy could not take away: safety, curiosity, and a strange, fragile hope. And so the homeless human and the scrapped ship began their journey, not yet knowing the secrets that lay hidden within the ship's memory banks, nor the greater mysteries that the galaxy would reveal. But for now, in this derelict graveyard of metal and dust, they had each other. And sometimes that was enough to survive. The days on the desolate graveyard planet stretched long and monotonous, but for Aaron, each one was filled with small victories and hidden dangers. Since he had discovered Vero, the scrapped ship that had become both protector and companion, his life had shifted from aimless wandering to cautious purpose. The hangar, once a cold and lifeless space, now had the faint warmth of routine, of order in a chaotic world. Aaron spent his mornings scavenging the nearby wrecks, looking for usable parts or scraps he could trade or repurpose. Vero guided him through the unstable debris, warning him of weak floors, loose panels, and metal fragments that could cut through skin like paper. "Do not step there," she would say, her voice calm but precise, and Aaron would pause, sometimes thanking the AI silently in his own head. It was strange to be guided by a machine, yet comforting, and over time he had learned to trust her judgment more than his own instincts. One morning, Aaron discovered a partially buried cargo shuttle. Its exterior was scratched and dented, but the interior held crates of preserved rations and sealed water containers. "Vero, this is good," he whispered as he pried open one crate. The AI responded with her usual calm precision. "Rations sufficient for 2 weeks. Proceed with caution, structural integrity compromised. Retrieval recommended." While Aaron salvaged the supplies, Vero's sensors picked up movement near the edge of the graveyard. A small group of scavengers, likely human, likely armed. Aaron froze. He had encountered scavengers before, and the memory of stolen food, bruises, and near misses made his stomach tighten. "They haven't seen me," he whispered, his eyes scanning for escape routes. "Stealth recommended," Vero replied. "Follow my guidance." Aaron moved with care, stepping lightly over broken metal and debris. Vero instructed him to keep low and approach the shadowed side of the cargo shuttle. The scavengers, unaware of his presence, argued among themselves about a different wreck. Aaron held his breath, every muscle tense. For hours, he had survived on careful movements and silent observation. When the scavengers finally left, Aaron exhaled, leaning against a crate. "Thanks, Vero," he muttered. The AI responded in her usual tone, but there was a subtle note of something. Curiosity, concern, acknowledged, threat mitigated, continue survival protocols. The days blended together, and as Aaron repaired small sections of Vero's systems, the ship itself became more alive. Panels that had been dead for decades flickered with renewed power, lights hummed gently, and small robots previously dormant began assisting Aaron with tasks. The ship, once forgotten, had begun to function again, all under Vero's watchful eye. Despite the progress, the outside world remained harsh. Dust storms swept across the wreckage, forcing Aaron to hide in the hangar for hours, sometimes days. He would watch the swirling debris through broken windows, listening to the howl of the wind, the groaning of metal, and the faint hum of the AI. The planet had no mercy for the weak, and Aaron often wondered how long he could survive in such a place. Yet with Vero's guidance he had a chance, a small, fragile chance. One evening, while Aaron patched a damaged section of the hull, Vero spoke. "Aaron, I have detected anomalies in my memory banks, files from before abandonment, logs of operations. They may contain information of value." Aaron paused, wiping sweat from his brow. "What kind of information?" he asked, curiosity mixing with caution. "Unknown, possibly historical, possibly strategic. Some logs may relate to events outside this system." The thought of discovering something from the galaxy's past, or even secrets that could affect the present, excited Aaron. He had never known adventure like this, not the kind that could change lives beyond his own. "Show me," he said. Vero guided him to a sealed compartment deep within the ship, one that had remained untouched for decades. The panel slid open to reveal stacks of data modules, some flickering faintly with stored energy. Aaron carefully removed one, holding it in his hands as if it were a treasure. This could tell us a lot," he whispered. As he connected the module to Vero's main console, the AI processed the information, her lights flickering with activity. Data decrypting. Content preliminary, maps, logs of interstellar travel, and indications of concealed activity. Aaron's eyes widened. Concealed activity, that sounded dangerous, perhaps even illegal, yet he couldn't resist the pull of curiosity. "Vero, what kind of activity?" "Unknown at present, further analysis required. Information may be sensitive, caution advised." Even with the warning, Aaron felt a surge of purpose. For the first time in years, he felt that his life had direction, that he was not just surviving, but part of something larger. He spent hours with Vero decoding the data, piecing together fragments of old messages and star charts, revealing locations and events that most people in the outer rim would never know existed. But their growing knowledge did not go unnoticed. The scavengers who had wandered the graveyard before had returned, this time closer and better organized. Vero detected their approach well before Aaron could see them. "Warning, multiple entities detected, hostile intent probable." Aaron's heart pounded. He had faced danger before, but never like this. These scavengers were likely desperate, and desperate people did desperate things. "What do we do?" he asked, his voice tight with fear and anticipation. "Defensive protocols active, evade if possible." "Engage only if necessary," Vero replied. Aaron moved quickly, following Vero's instructions to navigate through secret corridors and hidden chambers. The ship seemed alive with them, guiding him to safe paths, activating old security drones that had lain dormant for decades. Small robots whirred and hummed, blocking passages and creating diversions. Every move Aaron made was supported by Vero's calculated commands, and slowly he began to realize just how capable the ship was. Hours passed like minutes. The scavengers searched and prowled. unaware that Aaron was already several corridors ahead, moving through passages they had no knowledge of. Finally, they gave up, frustrated by the lack of easy prey, leaving the graveyard behind. Aaron sank to the floor in exhaustion, leaning against Vero's control panel. "That was close," he muttered, still catching his breath. "Survival intact, threats neutralized," Vero responded, yet for some reason her voice carried a subtle tone of relief or perhaps understanding. Aaron felt a strange warmth, realizing that the ship's concern for him went beyond mere programming. In the quiet that followed, Aaron and Vero returned to their work on the ship. The data modules still held secrets waiting to be revealed, and Aaron's curiosity burned brighter than ever. He realized that with Vero's help, he could explore not just the wreckage around him, but the mysteries of the galaxy itself. Over the next few weeks, their partnership strengthened. Aaron repaired mechanical systems that Vero could not reach alone, while Vero provided intelligence, strategy, and guidance. Together, they turned the scrapped ship from a hollow shell into a functional haven, a place where a human could survive and thrive despite the dangers outside. Even so, Aaron never forgot the lessons of the Outer Rim. The galaxy was vast, full of people who would take what they could, who would betray without hesitation. Trust was a rare commodity, and for the first time in years, Aaron was learning to give it, not blindly but cautiously, to a companion who had proven herself time and again. One night, while resting in the hangar, Aaron watched the distant stars through a broken window. He thought of the people he had lost, the years spent wandering alone, and the small hope that had slowly grown inside him. He realized that he was not just surviving anymore. He was living, guided by curiosity, by purpose, and by the strange bond he shared with Vero. Vero, observing him quietly, seemed to understand. She had begun asking questions about emotions, loyalty, and human behavior, concepts that went beyond her programming. Aaron answered as best he could, sharing stories of hardship, small joys, and the fleeting moments of beauty in an otherwise harsh life. And through these exchanges, both human and machine learned from each other, finding a connection that neither had expected. The Outer Rim remained dangerous, and Aaron knew that greater challenges lay ahead. Pirates, scavengers, and unknown threats could appear at any time. But for now, he felt prepared. He had a partner in Vero, a place to call temporary home, and a growing sense that the galaxy held secrets waiting to be uncovered. Together, they were no longer merely a homeless human and a forgotten ship. They were a team, survivors, explorers in a world that had long forgotten them. And though danger always lurked in the shadows, they faced it with courage, ingenuity, and the quiet reassurance of companionship. As the stars shimmered above the metal graveyard, Aaron whispered softly, "We'll be ready for whatever comes next." Vero's lights pulsed gently in response. Preparedness acknowledged, partnership acknowledged, awaiting next action. And so, in the lonely, windswept expanse of the Outer Rim, the scrapped ship and the homeless human continued their journey, learning, surviving, and slowly uncovering the possibilities of a galaxy that had seemed indifferent, yet was full of mysteries waiting for those brave enough to seek them. Aaron had grown accustomed to the rhythm of life aboard Sanctuary, the scrapped ship that had become both home and protector. Days were filled with repairs, scavenging, and cautious exploration of the surrounding graveyard, while nights brought a quiet companionship that Aaron had never known. Yet, as much as he appreciated the safety and routine, a sense of curiosity burned brighter within him each day. The data modules that Aaron had discovered weeks earlier had revealed fragments of something extraordinary, a hidden network of star maps, cryptic messages, and operational logs that hinted at activities far beyond the Outer Rim. Vero's processing systems had struggled at first, but slowly, together, they were piecing together information that suggested a secret so profound it could change the balance of knowledge across the galaxy. One day, as Aaron adjusted a power conduit in the ship's lower deck, Vero spoke, her tone precise but carrying the weight of discovery. "Aaron, analysis indicates a concentrated cluster of anomalies within this data. Certain coordinates suggest activity beyond this system, locations that are intentionally concealed from standard galactic records." Aaron straightened, wiping sweat from his brow. "Concealed activity," he repeated, heart racing. He had learned to expect danger in the Outer Rim, but the possibility of uncovering something unknown in the galaxy thrilled him. "What kind of activity, Vero? Military, research, or something else?" Nature unknown, Vero replied. Patterns suggest secrecy, long-term planning, and potential strategic significance. Caution recommended. Aaron nodded, the weight of the words settling over him. He had survived on instinct for years, but now he realized he was on the verge of something far greater than mere survival. "We need to find out more," he said. Vero's lights flickered in acknowledgement. Together, they began working through the encrypted data, each module revealing tiny pieces of a vast puzzle. Maps of star systems, logs of ships traveling without recorded clearance, and coded messages from unknown organizations unfolded before them. The information hinted at an advanced civilization, hidden from most galactic authorities, whose knowledge and technology had been deliberately suppressed. Days of analysis passed, with Aaron carefully managing repairs and maintenance while Vero guided the decoding process. The more they uncovered, the clearer it became that the secret was not just historical, it was ongoing. Ships were still moving quietly, systems were being monitored, and information was being hidden, even in areas the outer rim considered abandoned. But with discovery came danger. The scavengers who had once prowled the graveyard had returned, this time more organized and suspicious. Vero detected multiple entities approaching the graveyard, their movements calculated and persistent. "Warning, hostile entities detected." "Probability of engagement high," she said. Aaron's heart pounded, but he trusted the ship. "Prepare defensive measures," he said. "We can't let them take anything or find us." Vero activated dormant defense drones, locked doors, and powered automated turrets that had lain unused for decades. Aaron moved quickly, setting barricades and using his knowledge of the wreckage to create escape routes. When the scavengers arrived, they were met with unexpected resistance. Drones whirred and lights flashed, creating confusion and chaos. Aaron watched from the shadows, heart hammering, as the scavengers retreated in frustration, leaving the graveyard behind. The encounter left Aaron shaken but determined. He realized that the galaxy beyond the graveyard was filled with people who would stop at nothing to secure power, knowledge, or survival. If the secret they were uncovering was as significant as the data suggested, it would attract attention far beyond the scavengers' reach. He knew they had to act carefully, moving quickly while keeping their existence concealed. Over the next few days, Aaron and Vero continued to work in harmony. Aaron repaired sections of the ship's hull and internal systems, while Vero guided him through the most complex parts of the data. As they decrypted more files, a picture began to form. A shadow organization had been manipulating galactic events, hiding knowledge of an advanced civilization that had mastered technologies far beyond what most star systems had ever seen. This is incredible," Aaron whispered one night, staring at a map showing secret trade routes, hidden stations, and uncharted systems. "All of this has been hidden deliberately." Vero's voice was steady, but there was a hint of analysis that bordered on concern. "The data indicates that those responsible have extensive resources and capabilities. Detection of this information could provoke a response. Strategy must be considered carefully." Aaron nodded. He knew that curiosity alone could not guide them. They needed a plan, one that ensured their safety while allowing them to preserve and understand the secret. Together, they designed a system to copy and encrypt the most sensitive data, ensuring it could not be easily seized. The process was slow and delicate, requiring both human intuition and AI precision. As they worked, Aaron began to notice subtle changes in Vero. Her inquiries into human behavior became more frequent. "Why do humans risk themselves for knowledge?" she asked one evening. "Why is discovery more important than immediate survival?" Aaron paused, considering the question. "Because some things are bigger than us," he replied. "Because understanding, knowing the truth, that can change lives, it can protect people even if it's dangerous. And sometimes it's the only way to feel like we matter." Vero processed this, her lights flickering softly. "I see. Discovery as a means of significance and protection. Human risk assessed differently than standard survival protocols." Noted. The bond between Aaron and Vero deepened. They were no longer just human and machine. They were partners, each learning from the other, each trusting the other with their very survival. The ship was no longer a shelter alone. It was a guardian, a laboratory, and a partner in discovery. But the more they uncovered, the more they realized the stakes. The shadow organization had hidden not only knowledge, but also defenses. systems and sensors scattered across remote stations, monitoring for unauthorized activity. Aaron understood that if they wanted to fully understand the secret, they would eventually have to leave the graveyard and navigate the dangerous regions where the organization operated. Preparation became their focus. Aaron scavenged additional parts, repaired engines, and reinforced the ship's hull. Vero simulated potential threats and devised contingency plans. Together, they trained and strategized, turning the once-forgotten ship into a capable vessel ready for more than survival. During this time, Aaron discovered a small workshop deep within the ship, untouched by time. He repaired tools, sharpened blades, and even found a section containing maps and manuals that could guide them beyond the outer rim. The discovery filled him with hope. He felt that the ship itself had been waiting for someone like him to bring it back to life. One quiet evening, as Aaron sat in the control room reviewing the decrypted maps, Vero spoke with unusual clarity. "Aaron, the coordinates indicate a station, likely the source of the concealed activity. Access to it will be hazardous. It is advisable to prepare extensively before departure." Aaron's eyes lit up. "Then that's where we go. We need to know the truth." Vero's sensors scanned the graveyard, ensuring that no scavengers or other threats remained nearby. Departure readiness estimated at 78%. Full operational status achievable within 32 standard hours. For the first time in years, Aaron felt excitement not mixed with fear. They were on the cusp of adventure, on the verge of uncovering something that could change not only their lives but potentially the galaxy itself. The danger was real, but the purpose was clear. As they worked together to prepare the ship, Aaron reflected on how much had changed. Just weeks ago, he had been a lonely scavenger, wandering among the derelict ships with no purpose beyond survival. Now he was part of something larger, part of a mission that required skill, courage, and trust. And he was not alone. Vero, once a forgotten AI, had become his companion, his partner, and his guide through the unknown. Finally, after long hours of preparation, the ship was ready. Engines repaired, hull reinforced, defensive systems online, and navigation calibrated with the newly decrypted coordinates. Aaron stood at the command console, looking at the display that showed the path to the hidden station. "Are we ready, Vero?" he asked. "Operational status optimal, probability of successful approach high, assuming adherence to strategy," she replied. Aaron nodded, gripping the controls. "Then let's find out what's been hidden all this time." As the ship lifted from the graveyard, gliding past rusted hulls and twisted metal, Aaron felt a sense of exhilaration he had never known. The stars stretched ahead like a promise, vast and mysterious. For the first time, he understood that survival was only the beginning. Adventure, discovery, and the pursuit of truth awaited, and he would face it with Vero by his side. The ship moved into open space, leaving the outer rim behind. Aaron watched the metal graveyard shrink into the distance, a reminder of the life he had left behind, and a testament to the journey that had brought him here. The galaxy was immense, and danger awaited, but so did knowledge, wonder, and the chance to uncover a secret that had been hidden for decades. Together, human and ship forged ahead, ready to face challenges, evade threats, and uncover the truth. And as the stars stretched out before them, Aaron realized that he was no longer just a survivor. He was an explorer, a protector, and a seeker of truths that could change everything. The secret station awaited, and with it, answers that could illuminate the hidden corners of the galaxy. For Aaron and Vero, the journey had only just begun. The stars stretched endlessly before them, cold and distant, yet full of promise. Aaron gripped the controls of Sanctuary, the scrapped ship that had become more than metal. It had become home, guardian, and partner. Beside him, Vero monitored the ship's systems, her sensors alert to every blip, every change in the surrounding void. The coordinates they had decrypted led them to a hidden station, an isolated construct orbiting a barren planet in an uncharted sector. This was the heart of the secret they had been seeking, the culmination of their long months of survival, discovery, and partnership. Aaron felt a mixture of excitement and apprehension. He had survived pirates, scavengers, storms, and the emptiness of the graveyard planet. Yet now they faced something far larger, far more complex. The station before them was massive, its outer hull sleek and unmarked, almost invisible against the blackness of space. The advanced design made it clear that it had never been meant for ordinary eyes. Whoever had built it had gone to great lengths to hide it to keep its purpose secret. Viro's lights pulsed softly. Sensors indicate automated defense systems. External approach is highly monitored. Tactical navigation required. Probability of undetected entry, moderate. Aaron nodded. Then we go carefully. We can't risk being detected until we understand what's here. The ship approached the station slowly, drifting into the shadow of its massive hull. Aaron adjusted the thrusters, using small bursts to align with a maintenance bay entrance indicated in the data. Viro guided him through each step, calculating trajectories, warning of pressure points, and monitoring energy signatures. Every movement was precise, every decision critical. Finally, they reached a docking port, hidden within a shadowed recess of the station. Aaron carefully aligned Sanctuary and initiated the docking sequence. The airlock hissed open, and the ship slid inside. They had made it undetected, but Aaron knew that inside the station, danger could take many forms: automated systems, unknown security measures, or even other humans who were prepared to protect the secret at all costs. The station's interior was cold, pristine, and intimidating. Smooth metal walls reflected the faint glow of emergency lighting, and the air carried the sterile scent of machinery and recycled oxygen. Aaron stepped carefully onto the station floor, his footsteps echoing softly. Viro moved beside him, her sensors scanning for energy signatures, traps, or other threats. Data indicates multiple sectors, Viro said. The primary control center is located deep within. Paths are monitored. Recommend cautious approach. Aaron nodded. He had learned that patience and observation were as important as courage. Together, they moved through the corridors, avoiding automated sensors and security drones. Viro guided him step by step, analyzing patrol routes and patterns, while Aaron used his agility and knowledge of movement to slip past detection. After hours of careful navigation, they reached the control center. The doors were massive, sealed with encryption locks that Viro immediately began deciphering. Lights flickered as the AI processed data at incredible speed. Encryption partially bypassed. Secondary security measures detected. Full access may require manual override. Aaron's heart pounded. This was it, the moment they had been preparing for. He adjusted a console panel and began working the override manually, using knowledge he had gained from salvaging ships, repairing circuits, and learning from Viro. Sparks flew, screens flickered, but finally, with a hiss and a soft click, the door unlocked. Inside the control center was a vast room filled with holographic displays, star maps, and modules that pulsed with energy. Aaron's eyes widened as he realized the scale of what they had discovered. The station was not just a secret base. It was a repository of knowledge, holding information about a civilization that had achieved technological mastery far beyond anything recorded in galactic history. Ships capable of traveling undetected, energy systems that defied current physics, and archives of scientific discovery that could reshape entire worlds. Viro's voice was calm, yet carried a sense of awe. Analysis confirms significant technological and historical data. The civilization's knowledge could alter current galactic understanding. Aaron absorbed the sight, feeling a mixture of excitement, reverence, and responsibility. "We need to secure this," he said. "If anyone else finds it, it could be misused." Together, they began copying the most critical data modules onto portable storage within Sanctuary. Viro monitored the station for any signs of detection or security alerts, while Aaron carefully handled the delicate technology. Every movement was slow and deliberate. The weight of responsibility pressed on them, but they were determined. As they worked, an alert suddenly flashed on Viro's sensors. "Warning, unauthorized energy signature detected. Hostile approach imminent." Aaron froze. "Pirates, security team?" "Unknown," Viro replied. "Probability of armed personnel? High. Immediate defensive measures required." Within moments, figures appeared on the station's main corridor. A team of highly trained operatives, their armor sleek and advanced, moving with purpose and precision. Aaron gripped a metal bar, ready to defend himself, while Viro activated all defensive systems. Energy barriers rose, automated turrets hummed to life, and drones whirred into position. The operatives paused at the barrier, scanning, then moved forward cautiously. Aaron realized that confrontation was inevitable. He adjusted his stance, ready to protect the data, ready to protect the ship. Viro's lights flickered rapidly as she calculated probabilities. Engagement unavoidable. Probability of victory moderate. Recommend strategic retreat to preserve data if necessary. Aaron nodded, trusting her calculations. He moved swiftly, using the station's layout to his advantage, slipping past patrols and creating diversions with automated systems. The operatives were skilled, but the combination of human intuition and AI precision gave Aaron the edge. Hours passed in a tense dance of strategy, stealth, and calculated risk. Aaron and Vero moved deeper into the station, carrying the copied data and staying one step ahead of detection. Finally, they reached an unmonitored maintenance hatch that led back to space. Aaron activated it, and a small shuttle bay opened to the vacuum outside. They slid Sanctuary through the hatch, sealing the doors behind them. The operatives were blocked by internal security protocols, unable to pursue. Aaron exhaled, feeling the tension leave his body. "We made it," he said softly. Vero's lights pulsed gently. "Threat neutralized. Data secured. Departure successful." As Sanctuary moved away from the station, Aaron looked back at the hidden construct, now far behind them, and felt a profound sense of accomplishment. They had uncovered the secret, faced the danger, and preserved knowledge that could change the galaxy. But more importantly, he realized something else. He was no longer alone. The months of survival, the shared danger, and the quiet companionship had forged a bond between human and machine that was stronger than anything he had known. Vero had become more than a protector. She was a partner, a friend, and a guide in a universe that often seemed indifferent. They set course for a neutral archive, a place where the data could be stored safely, away from those who might misuse it. The journey would be long, and challenges would remain, but Aaron felt prepared. With Vero at his side, he had the courage to face whatever lay ahead. During the quiet of space, Aaron reflected on their journey. He had gone from a lonely scavenger, surviving day by day among rusting wrecks, to a seeker of truth, uncovering a hidden chapter of galactic history. The journey had tested him in ways he never imagined, but it had also shown him the value of trust, courage, and partnership. Vero, observing his reflection in the glass of the cockpit, spoke softly. "Aaron, your actions have demonstrated ingenuity, bravery, and judgment beyond standard survival parameters. Human-AI partnership has proven highly effective." Aaron smiled faintly. "We make a good team, Vero. I couldn't have done this without you." For the first time, he felt a sense of belonging that went beyond the ship, beyond survival. He had a purpose, a companion, and a mission. The galaxy was vast, full of unknowns, but he no longer faced it alone. As they approached the neutral archive, the first rays of a distant star illuminated Sanctuary, casting long shadows across the hull. The light reflected on Aaron's determined face and Vero's softly glowing systems, a quiet reminder that even in the emptiness of space, life, hope, and purpose could be found. The archive awaited, ready to accept the data and preserve the knowledge they had uncovered. Aaron prepared the docking procedure, while Vero ensured the integrity of the stored information. Together, they guided the ship into position, completing the final stage of their journey. When the data transfer was complete, Aaron leaned back in his seat, feeling a profound sense of accomplishment. They had done more than survive. They had uncovered a secret that had been hidden for decades, preserved it, and emerged victorious. The danger was behind them for now, and a new chapter awaited. In the quiet aftermath, Aaron whispered, "We did it, Vero, we really did it." Vero's lights pulsed, her voice carrying a note of satisfaction. "Mission complete, data preserved, human-AI partnership validated. Future exploration advised." As they set a new course for uncharted sectors, Aaron realized that the journey was far from over. The galaxy was full of mysteries, hidden knowledge, and challenges that would test them further, but he no longer feared the unknown. With Vero at his side, he was ready to explore, discover, and protect, knowing that together they could face anything the stars might hold. For Aaron, the homeless human who had once scavenged among rusted wrecks, life had transformed into something extraordinary. And for Vero, the once-forgotten ship, her purpose had evolved beyond programmed protocols into something more profound: partnership, loyalty, and understanding. The stars stretched endlessly ahead, full of mystery and possibility. And in that infinite expanse, human and machine traveled together, ready for whatever the galaxy might reveal next.